All right, here you see protests now erupting, asking for Aftab to be hanged to death. Remember, this is the court, the Delhi court is just about hearing the remand of Aftab. The police are appealing for an extension of Aftab's remand. Just as that hearing begins in a Delhi court, we're seeing extensive protests that have erupted. You see there, it appears to be, looks like these are lawyers, advocates themselves, if I could clarify. All right, this is the Saket court. I've just been told this is the Saket court in Delhi, where we see the legal fraternity largely outside the court condemning this gruesome, heinous crime and asking for death penalty for Aftab. These are live visuals as we're tracking those developments. Live visuals coming in from the Saket court in Delhi, where the Delhi court is hearing the remand, asking the Delhi police asking for an extension of the remand of Aftab. They want him in custody for a little longer to piece together all the missing evidences, which Aftab has been still evasive on. Now, while that hearing is underway in Saket court, we're seeing the legal fraternity coming together and unequivocally condemning this heinous crime and asking for death penalty. Let me come across to Shreya Chatterjee, who is right outside the Saket court. Shreya, this is possibly for the first time that I've witnessed, or rather, since you're there, you could tell us, have you seen a protest of this nature in the past? Here is the legal fraternity coming together and condemning this heinous crime, asking for death penalty.
Well, absolutely, so Nabila, and this is probably the kind of public outcry as well as from the legal fraternity right now. We were hearing that while the hearing was underway, there were sloganeerings outside demanding death penalty of Aftab, and they were advocates. Also important to point it out, Nabila, the two applications were moved by Delhi police today. One for video conferencing as a method to be used to produce Aftab, and second, the extension of custody. The court has accepted that Aftab should be produced by VC because Delhi police feared that he could be attacked by fringe elements and other religious outfits, and that's the reason now he will be produced before the court via VC at 4 p.m. when the court will also be hearing the extension of custody appeal. Important to mention, the judge also observed that there is a sensitivity in the case. It's a sensational case, and he also requested everyone to abide by the law, to not lose cool. This particularly because while the hearing was going out, there were sloganeerings raised outside the court, just outside the courtroom. This is the court premise, remember. Just in front of the courtroom, there were sloganeerings by advocates demanding the death penalty. This is a massive thing that everyone has witnessed today inside the Saket court.
All right, now tell us a little more about these people who are protesting. The visuals that are live on our screens here showing mostly those advocates and lawyers who have come together. Was this a planned protest, or has this erupted, in the spur of the moment? They saw Aftab coming in and they decided to come out and condemn this? Or was this a planned protest? Tell us a little more.
Well, Nabila, one thing is for sure that there was a huge crowd, especially when it came to counsels, when it came to other advocates. They were outside the court, they were inside the courtroom, they were expecting to see Aftab. There was an anger that was building up, and probably when they got to know that he will be produced via VC, this was an outcry that came out. They all started sloganeering, demanding Aftab be hanged till death, and we cannot really call it a planned protest. It was more of an outcry because they were all hoping to probably register their protest when Aftab would have been produced physically, but since that's not happening, we saw this kind of an outcry by the advocates inside the Saket court. This is not outside the court premise. Just in front of the courtroom of Metropolitan Magistrate Aviral Shukla, that we saw these kind of sloganeering being raised by no one less than advocates. So this is a huge outcry that we see right now by the legal fraternity itself, and it's probably an outcry because they were hoping to see Aftab and probably register their protest. That's not happening. Aftab will now be produced by a VC, and that's the reason we saw such an outcry outside the courtroom.
All right, so you're saying that Aaftab he's not been brought to the court. So cops are asking for video conferencing to be done. Any reason, particular reason on why this was asked for? Maybe anticipating this kind of outrage, public outrage?
Well, yes. Yes, Nabila, there was an anticipation on the part of Delhi police that there is a threat to the life of Aaftab. Very particularly the words that Delhi police mentioned before their application when they moved VC. They said religious outfits and fringe elements could attack Aaftab. And because of the safety of the life of the accused, that is the reason the Delhi police had requested video conferencing. The judge also observed that he is aware of the sensitivity of the matter and he can realize the kind of public perception that's also built regarding the matter, and that's the reason he went ahead and allowed this application, said that yes, video conferencing will be done, and now today at 4 p.m. the court will be hearing their application seeking extension of custody of Aaftab, while Aaftab will be produced via VC before the court.
All right, from the looks of it here, clearly we see that the legal community now stepping up their demand, asking for death penalty for Aaftab. Remember, these are similar demands made by Aaftab's family members, or rather Shraddha's family members as well. But Shraddha's family says he should also be chopped into pieces, just the way he killed their daughter. That's the similar punishment that he should also face. Now, of course, we know that the family speaks out of heightened emotions. They're really, how do I say it? I have no words to express what the family possibly is going through. They're grieving and desperately grieving, hoping to find justice in this case, in their daughter's murder. And while that's said on one end, we know that these emotions could push the family members to ask for death penalty. But on the contrary, here's a legal community, lawyers, advocates inside the Saket court who've come together raising slogans, condemning this murder and saying that they demand death penalty for Aaftab. They want Aaftab to hang to death. This is the demand raised by the legal fraternity at the Saket court, inside the court, while the hearing on Aaftab's remand continues. Shreya Chatterjee of India Today and a battery of reporters all positioned in different spots as the police also, while simultaneously this court hearing takes place, there is investigation that still is being carried out by a separate team of the Delhi police. They are currently intensifying the probe to try and piece together all those missing evidences, right? Starting from the skull, Shraddha's head, that is still missing. And we believe that Aaftab has confessed that Shraddha's face was burnt only to conceal her identity. Now, the cops are obviously trying to find, desperately trying to find Shraddha's skull. They've found a skull in Pandanagar, but they're trying to match the DNA to really see if this is indeed Shraddha's or not. Apart from that, the most crucial evidence is Shraddha's mobile phone, which is still missing, they haven't found. The weapon used to murder, basically a saw that was used to chop Shraddha into pieces, still missing. The clothes that is soaked in blood of Shraddha's, that's been disposed of by Aaftab, still missing. While all of these evidences need to be uncovered, here is the court hearing Aaftab's remand, and while that is happening simultaneously, you see protests by the legal fraternity asking for death penalty for Aaftab for this heinous crime.